Chapter 1. The Happy Couple and the Rich Neighbor. A poor man was married to a beautiful woman. The man and his wife never quarreled. The husband loved his wife. The wife loved her husband. They were very happy. But this happy couple had a rich, handsome neighbor. He saw the poor man's beautiful wife, and he fell in love with her. I want to marry her myself, he thought. Every day, when the woman's husband was working in the fields, the rich man went to the poor man's house. "You're a beautiful woman," he said to the poor man's wife, "but your clothes are old. Why doesn't your husband buy new, pretty clothes for you? I'm sure he doesn't love you. If he loved you, he would buy wonderful clothes for you. Divorce him and marry me. I will buy you beautiful new clothes, the best in the land. Then you will be the most beautiful woman in Ethiopia." At first, the woman didn't listen to the rich man, but he came to her house every day, and every day he said the same things. At last, she began to think, perhaps my neighbor is right. Why doesn't my husband buy beautiful new clothes for me? Perhaps he doesn't love me. Chapter 2. The New Dress. That night, she said to her husband, "Look at me, husband. My clothes are old and ugly. I want new ones. Buy me some new clothes." Her husband smiled at her. "You don't need new clothes," he said. "You are the most beautiful woman in the world to me." She was angry. "Don't you love me?" she said. "If you love me, buy me a new dress." Her husband loved his wife, and he wanted to please her. "I have only a little money," he thought, "and I need a new plow, but I want my dear wife to be happy." So the next day, he went to the market and bought a new dress for his wife. He took it home to her, and she put it on. "Thank you, my dear husband," she cried. "Now I know that you love me." When the rich man came to see her again, she was wearing her new dress. "You see," she said to him, "my husband loves me very much. He bought me this beautiful new dress." The rich man shook his head. "But a good husband doesn't only give his wife new clothes," he said. "He gives her gold. Where's your gold necklace? Where are your gold rings? Why doesn't your husband give you those?" He opened a box and showed her some beautiful gold jewelry. "Look at these," he said. "Divorce your husband and marry me, and I will give all these to you." Chapter 3. The Gold Jewelry. The woman did not listen to him. "Go away," she said. "I love my husband and he loves me, and we are happy together." But the rich man came again every day, and every day he showed her the box of jewelry. At last, she began to think, perhaps the rich man is right. Why doesn't my husband buy gold for me? Doesn't he love me? That day, she didn't make a fire. She didn't cook a meal. Her husband came home late after a long day in the fields. He was tired and hungry. "There's no dinner for you tonight," his wife said. "You don't love me." "What?" her husband cried. "But my darling, I love you more than anything. You are the most wonderful person in the world." "Then why don't you buy me some gold jewelry?" she said. "When a man loves his wife, he gives her a gold necklace and rings for her fingers." Her husband looked worried. "I spent money on her new clothes," he thought. "How can I find more for gold? I'll go and see my brother." Perhaps he will lend me the money. I must buy gold for my dear wife. I want her to be happy. The next day he went to visit his brother. "Lend me some money, brother," he said, "and I will work for you in your field." "All right," his brother said, "but you must work hard. There are many stones in my field, and you must move them all away." Her husband agreed and took the money. He went to the market and bought some gold jewelry. Then he took it home to his wife. His wife was very happy. She put the necklace around her neck and put the rings on her fingers. "Look at me," she said. "Am I not beautiful?" "You're very beautiful," her husband said. "If you are happy, I am happy." She put her arms around his neck. Thank you, my dear husband," she said. "Now I know that you love me." Chapter 4. The Rich Man's Trick. The next day, her husband went out very early, before the sun rose in the sky. He ran to his brother's field. It was covered with stones. "I must work very hard now," he thought. "I must start early and stop late. I must pay my debt to my brother." His wife was working happily at home. "I'll make a wonderful dinner for my husband tonight," she thought. "He gives me wonderful presents. He works hard for me. I know that he loves me." "Hello?" a voice called out. "Are you there?" The woman went outside. Her rich neighbor was there. "Ah, it's you," the woman said. "Listen, neighbor. You were wrong about my husband. Yesterday he bought me this beautiful jewelry. He loves me very much, and I love him. I will not divorce him. I will not marry you." The rich man was worried. Her husband loves her too much, he thought. If I want her, I must be clever. At last he said, "Your husband gave you clothes and jewelry, but I can give you more than that." "What? What do you mean?" the woman cried. "Can your husband make miracles?" the rich man asked. "Miracles?" "No, of course, he can't make miracles," the woman answered. "Only God can make miracles. Men cannot make them." "But I can," the man said, "because I love you. Love can make miracles. If your husband loves you, he can make miracles for you. If you love me, I will make miracles for you." The woman said nothing, and the rich man went away. Chapter 5. The Woman's Doubt. That night, the woman lay in bed, unable to sleep. The rich man's words echoed in her mind. "Can your husband make miracles?" She turned to look at her husband, who was fast asleep after a long day of hard work. His hands were rough, his face was tired, but there was love in every sacrifice he made for her. But what if love can truly create miracles? She thought. And what if my husband is not the one who can give me the life I deserve? The next morning, she decided to test her husband. "Husband," she said, as he was getting ready for work, "if you truly love me, prove it with a miracle." Her husband looked at her, confused. "What do you mean, my love?" "If you love me, make the river flow backward," she demanded. "Then I will know that your love is stronger than any other man's love." Her husband sighed. "My dear wife, I am only a poor farmer. I cannot change the course of the river, but I can give you my heart, my hard work, and my life." Then perhaps you do not love me enough, she whispered. Her words hurt him deeply, but he did not argue. Instead, he picked up his tools and left for the fields, his heart heavy with sorrow. Chapter 6. The Rich Man's Deception. As soon as her husband was gone, the rich man appeared at her door again. "Has your husband performed a miracle yet?" he asked, smirking. The woman shook her head. "Number, he said he cannot." "Ah," the rich man sighed dramatically. "Then he does not love you enough." The woman looked down, doubt filling her heart. "But I love you enough," the rich man continued. "Come with me, and I will show you a miracle." Curious, the woman followed him to the riverbank. There, the rich man had secretly paid some workers to divert the water with rocks. Slowly, the river changed direction. "Look," he said. "I told you, love can create miracles." The woman gasped. You really did it." "Yes," he said, holding out his hand. "Now, leave your husband and be with me." The woman hesitated. Deep inside, something didn't feel right. Chapter 7. The Husband's Wisdom. That night her husband returned home to find his wife sitting in silence. She looked at him and said, "Husband, today I saw a miracle. The rich man made the river flow backward. He told me it was because he loves me more than you do." Her husband smiled sadly. "And did he tell you how he did it?" The woman was silent. Her husband took her hand gently. "My dear wife, true love does not need tricks or illusions. Love is not about magic. It is about sacrifice, patience, and trust. I cannot make the river flow backward, but I can wake up every morning and work to provide for you. I can spend my days making sure you are safe, warm, and loved." Tears welled up in her eyes. She had been blind to the true meaning of love. "You are right," she whispered. "I was foolish." She took off the rich man's jewelry and threw it into the fire. "I don't need gold or miracles. I only need you." Chapter 8. The Rich Man's Defeat. The next day the rich man returned, expecting the woman to run into his arms. But instead she stood beside her husband, her hands folded. "I know your secret," she said. "You tricked me with workers and stones. That was no miracle, it was a lie." The rich man's face turned red with anger. "But I can still give you wealth, a better life." She shook her head. "There is no better life than being with a man who truly loves me." With that, she shut the door in his face. The rich man left in shame, never to return. Epilogue. The True Miracle of Love. The poor man and his wife lived a simple, happy life together. She no longer wished for gold or fine clothes because she had learned the greatest truth. Love is not measured by riches or tricks, but by the kindness, sacrifice, and devotion of a sincere heart. And that, she realized, was the greatest miracle of all. The end.